Yes, it's John G. Sutton here. Tales from the Jails. What more could you want? Don't forget to buy my book on Amazon. HMP Manchester Prison Officer. 'Tis me. Yeah, I'm going to talk about the block at Strangeways today, which is infamous. Infamous. I mean, if you were sentenced by Norman Brown, the governor, who was there when I was there in 1970, whatever it was, and used to get sentenced to non-associated labour, which effectively meant that you were going to be incarcerated in the block, which was on D1 landing, and a number of the staff there. Let me tell you about a number of the staff. They were regular staff. I mean, I was not a regular member of staff on D1, although I did conduct certain duties on D1. I was not a regular member of staff. I wasn't permanent staff on D1, but I did work there. And one of the big members of staff, one of the main members of staff, best known and infamous throughout all the people who have been there in the late 60s, 70s and 80s, was the school bully. Yeah, the school bully, otherwise known as Bootsy. And the reason, let me tell you why they called him Bootsy, was not because he kicked people, which that did happen, but because he wore size 10, maybe 11 ammunition boots, which are army boots, and underneath they have metal studs, and they call them ammunition boots, and that's why they called him Bootsy, because he used to stamp around D1 landing, boom, 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 like that, bashing his big clogs on the landing. Clogs, and clogs were metallically formed wooden boots worn by weavers in the 1930s, 1920s. But anyway, Bootsy was, he wore ammunition boots. There was another guy down D1 who was called the Chinese Money Box. Now, he had that slight oriental look, which is why he may have been called that. I did ask him, I said, why do they call you the Chinese Money Box? He said to me, if you got a couple of seconds to fuck off before I am gonna... Oh, I thought, I don't really want to know why they call him that. I'll go. Seriously, it was dangerous. And there was Piggy, of course, yeah, and the Black Dog. Yeah, now the Black Dog had a grim kind of visage, which is a snot box and face like that. Like that. I don't think he was a bad man, really. I mean, he knew what he was doing, and he was effectively enforcing the regime that pertained on D1 landing at the Strangeways, and it was a very restrictive regime. They had a number of... On the floor, they had white tiles and black tiles, and the prisoners were not allowed to walk on the white tiles. This was some kind of mystical, dreamed up regulation that had been enforced by the staff. They just did it to corrupt the mindset of the inmates on the block. And the problem with the block was, I found, I was there as an officer, I wasn't there, I wasn't regular staff, but I went down there and worked there many times, and I always found it very strange that the staff operated what I would call the silent regime. They were not allowing inmates to speak to each other. They were not speaking to the inmates, So the prisoners down the block were effectively operating on a regime that was institutionalised in the Victorian era. It's called the silent regime. And if you're down there and you've got nobody to speak to, I mean, eventually you're going to go a little bit insane. They've tried that on Charles Bronson, Charles Salvador as he's now known. They've tried to do that to him. Honestly, it would drive you to the edge of insanity. If you've got nobody to speak to, no human conversation, you're eventually going to crack. And at the Strangeways at the block, that was a general idea. I saw a man down there who was on the block at Strangeways. He was a big man, something of the size of Tyson Fury. You've seen Tyson Fury, 6'9". Well, this guy was round about the same size. He was George Wilkinson, his name was. He was an enormous guy. He was big. He filled the cell. But I'll tell you, on the block at Strangeways, he didn't matter if it was 7'6". You didn't win. You got the school bully, you got the full Monty there. All the team that was required. They had everybody that was needed to subdue you. And when I saw George Wilkinson, and listen, I don't know, I didn't actually interact with him other than to advise him as a hospital officer that if he didn't cease what he was doing, because he wouldn't eat and he was drinking copious amounts of water, that he was seriously damaging himself. But he wouldn't listen to me, and no wonder, because they'd terrified him. And believe me, if you're down the block at Strangeways, they had a thing called the silent cells. Now, the silent cells on the block were two little cells away from the main prison, a main block, but they were called the silent cells because it didn't matter how loud you screamed, nobody would hear you. I know that. I've been down there and seen the people who were in the silent cells. Anyway, that's my little talk about the block at Strangeways. It may still exist. I'm sure it's still there. Whether they use it in the same way, I don't know. And as for the school bully, he's still alive, I believe. God bless the guy. He was doing what he believed to be right. And in his way, he was right. But if we look at it from a humanitarian point of view, there may be another perspective. I'm now going to sing you a song, because basically what's happened here is you've escaped the last couple of days. You've had some poetry. I mean, I like poetry. I do. I write it. I do. You've heard my poems, Grandpa Grumps, Flowers and all the rest of it. But now I'm going to sing to you, because really, you've deserved it. And if you don't like it, there you go. That's the song dinger there. That's warning you it's time to escape, as John is about to embark upon a song. This is... I'm going to do the Billy Eckstine version, not the Sarah Vaughan version, of Passing Strangers. Are you sitting comfortably? Because if you are, then I am about to ruin your afternoon. We seem like passing strangers now. How can you hurry by? They were never two who loved half as much as you and I. We seem like passing strangers now. Funny how things can change. We were so inseparable. Now you're acting very strange. The hands I used to touch don't even wave hello. Now I miss you lips you'll never know. If you would only turn to me, speak my name just once more, you might find right there and then strangers can be lovers again. The hands I used to touch don't even wave hello. How I miss your lips, you'll never know. If you would only turn to me, speak my name just once more, you might find right there and then strangers can be lovers again. Well, I reckon those strangers will never meet again. I think we've strangled the pair of the bastards. Tales from the jails. Get my book, folks. Thank you very much.